One of the secrets to a happy marriage is recognize the difference between men and women. Men and women are definitely different. I remember when I got married nearly 40 years ago, the second night of the honeymoon, I came to realize the big difference between my wife and I. What was happening? We were sitting in bed, and all of a sudden, my wife started to cry, and she started to cry big time. And as she's crying, I looked at her, I said, Sonia, are you okay? Did I do something wrong? She cried and said, no, I just miss my mommy. And I remember thinking, she misses her mommy, and she's crying over this. And I thought to myself, am I going to have to live with such an emotional person? And the answer was, yes, I was. But then I started to learn from the Word of God that emotional side, which is the compassion, caring side, is actually part of the image of God. See, I want to give you a shock for some of you. When God created the human race, He created us in the image of God. But I want you to listen carefully to Genesis 1:27. I'm going to give you a revelation. It says, God created mankind in His image. In the image of God, He created them. Male and female, He created them. Now, listen to me carefully. Adam, before God created a wife from his rib. Before that, Adam was fully in the image of God. But the Bible tells us in Genesis 2:21 that God took a rib from his side and closed up the place with flesh. What does that mean? God did not replace the rib. He took something in him, a part of the image of God, and created a woman. So when he looked at the woman was the other side or the missing part of the expression of the image of God. You see, and it's only when you're married and you join together as a partner do you discover that together we're able to express more fully what it means to be in the image of God. You see, men, for example, are logical in their thinking. Women are emotional, caring, and compassionate. But those are both sides to God. You understand this? And so I began to realize that for me to fully express who I am in the image of God, I need my wife to help me to do this. No longer was I looking at her as just some weak person who wasn't as strong as me. I started to realize she has compassion and she cares about people far more than I do. And that, to me, is the image of God. And so what I began to learn is that we couldn't fight each other. We had to accept each other's differences. And you're never going to be happy if you don't really embrace each other's differences. You ladies, for example, God made us to be more sexually oriented, while a woman is more relationship oriented. So a lot of times a woman doesn't understand her husband because some pretty girl walks by and he gives a second look and you think, oh man, he's so full of lust. He needs the devil cast out of him. And really, he's just a man. It doesn't mean he's lusting. It doesn't mean that he's committing adultery or anything like that. It's what he's like. And so that's part of maybe the weakness of God making a woman from him. And so since a woman needs a man to fully reveal the image of God, a man needs the same thing. And what we can't do is constantly compete with each other, fight each other over those differences. So friend, through the years, I came to realize my wife in many respects is more godly than I am. It's true. She's just more godly than I am. But can I say, there's also some other aspects where I'm actually more godly than her because I'm expressing some other part of the image of God. And friend, you can recognize that I need that person. And once you start to realize I need my wife or I need my husband, you're on your way to cleaving together and joining forces together rather than trying to compete with each other. That's one of the secrets I learned early on in my walk with God and getting married, is that I had to recognize and embrace the differences between my wife and I, and you need to do the same.